Hey everybody, this is Dusk Gaming, doing something a little bit different here. So, got a couple things going on. Obviously, we have the RPTQ prep. We've been doing some Magic Arena. We've been doing some Standard. Feels like I've kind of lost a little bit of focus as to what my end goal of the channel, what my end goal of doing some of this stuff was. So, get back to reality. I am temporarily giving up my membership to Mana Traders. It has nothing to do with Mana Traders itself. It has to do with I'm going to try something a little bit different for the month of October. We'll see how it goes. So, as many of you know, I'm pretty proficient with Burn. My goal this month is to stream some more. Going to try to win as many treasure chests as possible, with the end goal of the month being 100 treasure chests between friendly and competitive leagues. Obviously, I want to work on getting better with Burn. I've set up an Excel spreadsheet to kind of track the matchups, track how matchups are going, track competitive versus friendly leagues. It's kind of one big happy stat family mess, but long story short, so I'm going to be basically playing Burn most of this coming month. We'll still get into some Arena, we'll still get into some World of Warcraft. I'm kind of stripping everything down to like what happens when, you know, somebody starts out with a new collection, someone starts out with, you know, a limited selection of decks they can play rather than, you know, having access to every deck in every format. I think this exercise is a little more realistic to the average Magic player instead of like streaming, you know, every deck under the sun. You know, we all start out with like one deck, two decks. You know, so I'm starting out with a deck that I'm pretty good at. I invested, you know, the money to pick the cards back up on my backup account, which was Oblivion's Gaming. So, here we are, playing some Burn. Beyond that, I mean, like I said, the goal is to get 100 treasure chests. So I'll definitely be streaming more, but it's mostly going to be Boros or Naya Burn. I'm getting better with that. Beyond that, be grinding a little bit on Arena, trying to pick up standard cards so I get some standard content in here. And then I'm going to completely start over on World of Warcraft. I'm going to create a new level 1 character and level up and try to get through the new expansion. So that's going to cover a lot of ground. We'll try to cover some storylines on World of Warcraft. So the goal is to stream a lot more. We'll see how realistic that is. Beyond that, I've already started playing a league here. I'm 2-0 in a friendly league so far. Played against a variant of Blue-Red Drakes, which was Saffron Olive's latest budget deck, and then we played against a budget-ish version of Death Cloud, Green-Black Death Cloud. So, I'm playing a lot of interesting, weird decks the first couple matches of this league. So, almost felt like I was in the two-man queues more than anything. So, here we go. I mean, it's not a permanent change, I don't think. I just want to start building up my resources again. I've put a lot of resources into Magic, and I've had to sell a lot of resources, so I figured that grinding the deck that I'm the most proficient with is possibly the best way to build things back up. So, without having to burn energy, it's more like burning time, so see how this goes. So I'd like to play first. This hand is absolutely awful. I cannot keep it. 5 lands. This hand's good, but gonna need a little bit of help. Actually kind of wish I was on the draw here. But only one land, we gotta fetch and get our guys rolling here. Got the new looking Sacred Foundries, which I'm actually kind of a fan of the Return to Ravnica art block more than I am these new Sacred Foundries. Like a lot of the new arts I'm pretty happy with, like Watery Grave and some of the other ones, but this one I'm kind of like a much bigger fan of the middle generation art. Ew. Well, okay. Land would obviously be great here. That, unfortunately, is not a land. Like I said, we topped a land, but we couldn't really afford to not make any plays on one, so... See if our opponent has a Fatal Push or a Bolt here. Yep, not surprising. Hopefully our opponent runs out of Young Pyro and we draw a land here. Looks more like a Brutality. Yep. It's probably going to lose, I would guess, Searing Blaze here. Either Blaze or Helix. Since our opponent cannot kill... Take Bolt. Interesting. Well, guess it's a good call when we got stuck on lands. Oh. Looks like they're good old-fashioned Jund. They have a kill spell, they have a kill spell, so be it. Probably Liliana tick down. Or possibly Bloodbraid Elf, I guess, would be a likely scenario here, huh? That's pretty brutal. Don't think we're going to be able to race this one here. Force them to tick down their Liliana here. Yeah, we're not coming back this round. Alright, so Jund... Typically the... Huh. So Jund's a little bit weird in what they can present here. Probably want a couple of Path to Exiles at least, but not too many. And on the play... Probably tempted to cut a couple of these Searing Blazes. I mean, Blaze can be reasonable against an early Scavenging Ooze or an early Tarmogoyf sometimes, but our opponent had a pretty decent draw against what we were doing, so definitely keeping this hand. gets a free land off the deal here. Presuming your opponent has like a bolt or something here. Fulminator Mage. Alright. Wowzers. That's pretty ballsy, I guess. I don't know if they have to take the idol on here or if I take one of the burn spells. See if our opponent tries to play the Fulminator Mage. Fulminator seems a bit ambitious in a matchup like this. Is your hand like a collective brutality here? Target player discards a card. Actually, we should just let this resolve. Pitch Lightning Helix here. We don't take any unnecessary additional damage. Presume we're going to get Fulminator Maged here. Yep. Okay. Let's pass. Collective Brutality is a little bit rough here. Why would they even pitch Blackleaf Cliffs there? What's up, Janishavik? How you doing? We're gonna fetch one land here. This Swift Spear is not exactly the ideal draw here. Good chance their hand is Doom Blades. Is that any better? Alright. Is your hand Bolt, and I'm dead? No, Bolt, yep. Well, that's, fine ending to the first match on camera here. Okay. Jund. 0-1. 0-2. So how are you guys doing this evening? So anyways, what I started to explain at the beginning of the video, I'm going to try something a little bit different for the next couple weeks. Instead of streaming a bunch of different decks, I'm going to concentrate on trying to play as much burn as possible and try to get to 100 treasure chests at the end of the month. So basically I'm like creating a scenario where everybody is used to, where we all start up with like one deck and start building up our collection. So I'm just kind of like hitting the reset button on Magic and on Arena and on World of Warcraft. So it's kind of going to be an experiment to see how it goes. First two matches I played off camera were some really... This has been a weird league so far. I've played against... I'll play Standard on Arena. I'm just taking a break from mana traders. The constant monthly hits a little bit much sometimes. So just gonna have to get cards on Arena and see how it goes. See, the problem with Standard is I don't have like a huge reason to play Standard, so there's no reason for me to really go at Standard hard right now until like the format flushes out a little bit. This hand is pretty terrible. Definitely a mulligan. This hand's even worse. Lightning bolts. Bottom that because we need a land. There is, but until Standard really kind of settles out, I really don't have a reason to play a ton of Standard right now. Snow-covered mountain Arbor Elf. That's never a good sign. The card Arbor Elf is never a good sign. Yeah, I know, Jan. I've spread myself so thin, like, trying to keep up with all the formats and everything. I've spread myself thin a little bit financially with Magic. I've spread myself a little bit thin, like, trying to stream different decks all the time. So... Mono Green Devotion? Oh dear. It's gonna be a lot of mana. Maybe I should just bolted the elf on end step there. Night of Autumn. Alright, so they're going to presumably destroy Eidolon here. Not sure what kind of nonsense our opponent's playing, but it does look pretty dangerous. I think on 5 cards, though, we really can't try to control what our opponent's doing. Knight of Autumn is just a beating for burn anyway. Oh, I'm sure there is, but the question is, what kind of deck? Jiminy Christmas. Alright, well, we weren't beating that hand anyway. That's the second Arbor Elf nonsense deck I've played against in this league. I don't know what is going on in this league, man. No, it's not. I guess I could, but there's a good chance they just grab like another Knight of Autumn or something stupid. So, these lava spikes out of our deck. Doesn't really matter at that point. Whatever they're doing is just some busted crap. The fact that we were on, yeah, it would have been good to know. You're right, Jan. Over what, though? Yeah, the question is for what, though? Like, what am I cutting to get path in the deck? Sand's fine if a land higher than I want. Yeah, I suppose Riftbolt, maybe. Woodland Bellower. Man, they are going deep. Did our opponent keep a no-lander? Wow. Okay. No, he's definitely beyond Value Town. He's on like some type of green white devotion shenanigans almost. Man. I wondered. That's it. I think Lavamancer on the draw is too slow. Enchantment that brings the top of your library to the play. I don't think so. They appear to go way, way, way bigger than Night and such. Hmm. Don't really want to ramp their mana, but at the same time, we need to have one-man answers to their crap. Hand's pretty good. Birds of Paradise. I'll let them have their turn to whatever they want here. Hopefully it's not night, but if it is, then whatever. Yep, feels like a Utopia Sprawl here. In some ways, the second Swift Spear made that turn a little bit awkward, but I think prioritizing getting their guy off the board was the priority there. And I think that's all the lands they have, so they might be stuck on mana. Because you don't shock in Stomping Ground and then play Nykthos unless you're unless those are the only two lands currently in your hand. Now, obviously, they could have drawn another land, but hopefully they just play, like, I don't know what I'm hoping for, like Night. They can't even play Night here, so I don't even know what their play is here. Alright, 4 mana, whatever it is. Using a Nykthos as a... Okay, Tarmogoofy's a little annoying. Yeah. So, do I willingly trade one of my Swift Spears here? I think so. Let's pass here. Yeah, Jan, you tend to notice the little things a lot of people don't notice. Does the play here Eternal Witness get back what? Tarmogoyf? This is like the second Eternal Witness deck I've played against today. And it's been the same, like, Arbor Elf, Utopia Sprawl. They're just dead here, right? I don't even know how to label that. Green-white ramp? Lack of a better term. That's the third, like, really weird deck I've played against this league. Yeah, I know it's a personalized deck, but still, it's like a third kind of pseudo-weird deck I've played against this league. Yeah, this is a pretty good hand on the play. So this is kind of a weird hand in terms of, like, sequencing here. Like, do I go Sacred Foundry or do I go Mountain? Because leaving Mesa in my hand allows me to control when I use Searing Blaze if I happen to draw a third land. But I think just taking the least amount of damage here off my lands is probably reasonable too. Okay. I've had some comments like go, why don't I just like fetch Mountain and then play Sacred Foundry in some comments before. Yeah. I mean, someone brought up the point of like fetching basic Mountain in case you draw like Inspiring Vantage to save you some life. But yeah, that makes some sense to O'Doyle. So how's everyone doing this evening? Yeah, I know. Like, this hand's pretty good. I mean, there are some decks that can beat this draw, but this is pretty good by burn standards, especially being on the play. So, queso. My opponent apparently is... Okay, it's not us. Alright, just want to welcome everyone in tonight. Just a heads up, the format of the channel is changing, at least in the short term. I'm going to make this announcement a couple times through the evening. Sure, I was not disconnecting. But, basically, I think I've spread myself too thin, and I'm just going to focus on, like, going back to, like, if you're building a, your own Magic collection, like, you usually start with, like, one deck, build yourself up. Gonna do that with this and Arena. Honestly, if we're being completely 100% honest, I'm really tired of dumping money into Arena and Mana Traders. Like, I know I get my money back a lot of times from Mana Traders from the decks I play and doing well in leagues, but it's still... I love the game, I don't like putting money into it. I'll put it that way. Oh no, Arena is free. Unless you're like buying stuff, Arena is free. But I play more Magic Online than Arena at this point. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to cut down the game, but it's like, Magic can be downright expensive. Living End? Or Jund? This feels like a collective brutality. Nope. It is, in fact, Dredge. Alright. The Dredge matchup's gotten a little bit tougher because of this card right here. Creeping Chill is very annoying. all they got was a Bloodghast? Man, what kind of hand do they keep for a dredge hand? Yeah, I played against it, with, what deck did I play it with? I played against it with Miracles, and they had Creeping Chill, and just felt absolutely miserable. Miserable for the person you're playing against, that is. Alright, well, I'm glad we have those resting pieces in our sideboard, instead of going back to the core Firewalker like I was thinking. Yep. Yeah, like, all the pieces of Jeskai Miracles, without having a playset of Tarns, has probably ran me about 1100, all told. What on earth is this? Wow. Opponent is casting a Stinkweed Imp. So I can kill this, get in for 7. Yeah, let's just kill this, get in for 7. They had a pretty poor draw for Dredge here. Actually, I screwed up. I should have played Swifty out here. That was a screw up on my part. Now if they hit another Creeping Chill, we're just pretty close to dead. Actually, we're just dead to Conflagrate, aren't we? Yeah. I screwed up. We should have won this game. We're just dead to Conflagrate. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating. That is very frustrating. Okay. I don't know what's going on. The Conflagrate is having issues here. As soon as they figure out how their Conflagrate works, we're dead here. Nope, definitely screwed up there. They shouldn't. We should have won that game. The Bloods are pretty reasonable here. Cards do we cut? Feels like a Boros Charm matchup. They're okay, but not really necessary. Lava Spike might have been the cut. Actually, I think the cut might have been, the cut might actually have been Eidolon. No, we definitely don't want to board out Skullcrack against the deck with, surprised they didn't, activate that to get the Narcomoeba into play here. Especially since they saw the Narcomoeba. Feels kind of weird that they wouldn't, Yeah, they gain life with, Creeping Chill. I can't play around the math here, so just kill that. Just go to combat here. Creeping Chill. That's kind of brutal. Yep. Gonna be taking some damages this game. That is a brutal card against Burn. That is a interesting card. I don't know why they didn't activate that during main phase. That seems... it does... It's a 6-point life swing, but only 3 damage. Okay, I got an Amalgam in their yard. Wonder if they have a Cathartic or something here. I'm hoping this is just like Loam. But the exiling ability is brutal. a free Lightning Helix is insane. Yeah, this feels like a Cathartic. Either a Cathartic... Yep. See what they hit here. Well, they get a Narcomoeba. They didn't hit another Dredger, did they? They did not. Alright. So, we should have won this match, but now we're going to a game 3. I actually think Eidolon might be the cut here on the draw. Bring in some amount of paths and some amount of Boros charms to compensate. Don't think there's any other cards we want in this matchup. So, I'm not going to bring in Wear Terror just for, No, good lord, no. This is a racing matchup. You don't want to bring in Mancer in a racing matchup. Especially on the draw, way too slow. But I could like on the play I could see an argument for it, but it's just not worth the trouble. Path is relevant in terms of, like, dealing with, like, prized amalgam or, whatnot permanently. This hand is okay. Really wish we'd see our graveyard hate, but, I mean, I suppose we can't mulligan to just a 2-of in our sideboard. Shriekhorn, sure. Conflagrate's dangerous. Against Mill, it's okay. Especially since you can, like, randomly exile, They brought in Nature's Claim? Sure. Yeah. Grave Troll is definitely a beating. Have a Faithless Looting here. It's only one put in your graveyard from your library. Alright. So the problem I'm facing here is, like, do I pour on damage, or do I just, like, be happy with my 1 and hold up Skullcrack here? This feels really, really awkward. No, Riftbolt's the least efficient of the... Do they have a way to kill this? Oh, I was like, did you seriously have a way to kill... whatchamacallit here? No, Riftbolt's just next turn. Okay, they have a Steam Vents. Alright, that must be to cast their prized amalgams. Yeah, that was definitely a thought process here. Like, they had no dredgers, so they had to hit it off their Shriekhorn here. Our opponent's been very unlucky with hitting dredgers. Very, very unlucky. City of Brass. Wow. Okay. White mana. What do you need white mana for? Oh, okay, it was just randomly to cast flash back your Faithless Looting. Got a Life from the Loam and a Narcomoeba. So we're missing some damage here, but I just want to hold up Skullcrack in case they... Yeah, where's Rest in Peace when you need it? Indeed. Alright, so they didn't really hit anything here. Honestly, a lot of things might be viable in Jan. It really is kind of hard to say. It looks like the tokens deck is a for real kind of thing. Some type of red or Boros aggro is definitely going to be a thing. We getting conflagged here. It looks like we're getting Conrad conflagged. Just loam. Alright. Looks like they gotta go with the slow and grinding process here. Alright. I mean, looks like they're loading up for a conflag. Because of the Boros cards. Though mono... 3 damage to Swiftest of Spears. So our opponent is dead here, correct? Do that. Oh yeah, whatchamacallit, Radiant Destiny. Radiant Destiny is the card. So 4-1, we're up to 4 out of 100 treasure chests in the month. Dredge 1-0, 2-1. Feels like it should be 2-2 because that game 1 should have been ours. So definitely was an interesting league. Played against Dredge, green-white ramp stuff, Jund, green-black Ponza, and blue-red Drakes. So we went 4-1. Yep, sitting on 4 treasure chests there, which is kind of where we want to be. But yeah, I mean, Goblins definitely looks fun. If you look at definitely closing out Magic Online here. If you look at pull up MTG Goldfish. Boros Goblins. The Response Resurgence is another reason to splash the color. And then Radiant Destiny and Conclave Tribunal. So it looks like whoever did this agreed with you. Janshevik, they played a couple of Vanquishers. Banners in the sideboard. Yeah, Conclave Tribunal is a card. Response Resurgence is a card. And then gives you access to pretty much looks like Tribunal and Response Resurgence and Radiant Destiny are the main reasons they splashed it. Then other decks, Golgari Midrange looks pretty interesting. Find Finality is quite a card. Hand, especially when you're like cycling stuff. Graveyard to your hand. This deck does a lot of like recycling. Tax, you may pay X. Return target creature with converted mana cost X from graveyard to the battlefield. The creature will leave the battlefield exiled instead of putting it anywhere else. Looks like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. So, hey, don't laugh, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, but does this deck have any surveilling to it? Honestly, though, if you're surveilling, Dryad Greenseeker just seems like value. But, yep, so 4-1. Are you talking in Modern, O'Doyle? Just play a deck full of like Pack Rats and Radiant Destiny. That could get stupid. Mending of Dominaria. What's up, Sideboard? How you doing, man? Yeah, it was a pretty nice fall background I found. Interesting idea. Not much, Space Marine. How's it going? Just announced, well, not really announced, just kind of mentioned there's going to be some short-term changes for the channel. I'm going to work on, like, kind of going back to, like, beginning collection Magic, like playing, you know, Magic Arena, playing just basically just playing Burn in Modern, building up some treasure chests, start buying some cards and such. It's been, proxied my Burn deck? Why did you proxy my Burn deck? Oh, testing against it. Gotcha. Rat Colony with Radiant Destiny? Yeah, it could be. Honestly, sideboard, I think it's a little too early to tell for sure what the meta is going to look like. So I gotta play some type of, I guess I'll just play the Eternal Thirst deck. It looks like it's just gonna be some type of free-for-all right now. You got the tokens deck, you got the aggro decks, you got the control decks. Mono Red Burn is a deck now. Interesting. Figured the Mono Red deck would just kind of go away after everything that it lost. Just hopping on here to do some dailies. I'm not actually playing. The deck I'm actually working on is mono green, but gotta do what you gotta do to complete the daily quests. So, how'd your breakdown of the standard meta go? I haven't had a chance to actually look at it yet. Of course we draw a Johnny's Pride Mate out of sequence here. Still think we play it here. Flame of Keld and Risk Factor. Interesting. See if they attack their 2/2 into my 2/2. Wow. Two hours of you running your mouth. That was just the most mana efficient use of our play here. Ripjaw Raptor, sure. It's really also hard to tell, like, what the big guns are working on too, and what's doing well in friendly leagues. See, that's one thing I don't like about Wizards' data policy, is there's so little you can actually tell from it. Actually, wasn't there a Jeskai deck that did well? I could have sworn there was a Jeskai deck that I saw that did well. Oh, we're getting Siege Rhino back. Delightful. That could get ugly. Why'd they kill my... Mancer makes all the counter spells one less. Oh, you don't have to be politically correct and say the right color or each thing here. Yeah, Disinformation Campaign. I was watching Hoogland stream that deck. That deck is absolutely brutal. I think we just pass turn here. This could be a reasonable card, but I think we're far weaker than our opponent's deck here. Well, I mean, sure. To be fair, Space Marine, like, it's also the fact that Wizards is pushing Arena, by paying people to play it that are Hearthstone streamers and such. I have no idea if they're viable, Jan. This is just like a random, just play stuff here. They will love playing versus... Yep, you and your beloved mono blue sideboard. So... So right now we have 7, 8 mana this turn. So I can go Sovereign. Oh, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's, you really, really do love that deck, though. I think I just have to murder this thing here. I don't want my opponent getting stuff back from their graveyard. Oh, Space Marine. Always entertaining, my friend. Always entertaining. Yeah, I'm not really sure, like, what 100% is my play style. Card. Okay, so they have one flyer right now. So get in... Guess I just... contempt the flyer and start pushing damage. I honestly think if it really... the templating on... the templating on the Ifrit, that I'm not recalling its name, I really wish it just said gets power equal to the number of islands, because I would really love to be able to play okay, sure. Like being able to play like a multicolored... Opponent is... Okay, so... block. Yeah, I can definitely understand the the fear, but it was just like even just being able to play it in Dimir with the hexproof one would be pretty insane. 25 lands. Yeah, splash the dual islands. See what our random one pack is. Probably not anything of note. Sai. Yeah. Sai is not fantastic in the current format. So let's go back to playing some mono green. Wow, this hand is, it's a hand. I think we had to mulligan that one. We didn't have any, reasonable plays there. Even in Standard, I really don't want to be, waiting till turn 4 to make my first, play. So, Space Marine, what's your perspective on burn now that you've had to play it to proxy it up? That's quite the card. Each upkeep if you lost life last turn. That is, it's an interesting one. Burns too inconsistent? Interesting. Sideboard, I don't think these mono green decks are all that good if we're going. Oh yeah, I agree, but that's a lot of aggro decks in Modern. Especially, oh my. Looks like we're just playing against a version of the deck we just played. Seal. Sorry for the bad sound effects. Yeah, it doesn't help I'm still running a very, what's the nicest word I can put? I'm still running a very bare bones version of the deck. I don't have, like, all the Vine Mirrors and stuff yet. Yeah, I don't even think there's any Steel Leafs in this build currently. This is still pretty close to the the starter deck. Hence why we're kind of grinding some gains here. Opponent going with a beatdown plan. There are some games it is Janshavik. It really depends. Not Janshavik, Space Marine. A lot of it honestly depends on the nature of like, a lot of it depends on the nature of the our opponent's coming out with guns blazing here. We're going to take one more draw step just to get a chance to play some more creatures or some more lands for the quests here. But that is definitely game. Especially for blue-white control, Eidolon's particularly annoying. I could see that. Like, the remaining cards I have for standard in paper, yeah, that's the one thing a lot of people just, they don't understand about Burn, is Burn has a lot of very simple, like, meaningful decisions. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Burn is the most... Yeah. Burn is the... Oh, are we getting... Okay. I guess this deck is showing us what a mono green deck's supposed to look like. Yeah, I think that's what... Oh my... Yep. Yep. That side of the table, good green deck. This side of the table, not great green deck. That is such... Opponent is going beatdowns. Okay! That Galta is going to be a real beating next turn. Yeah, pretty close. You still gotta continue playing these games sideboard just for quest value. Most of Burn's decisions are mulligan, deck building, and hand keep decisions more than anything. So oh yeah, most people would definitely say it's a holy... That is one very large Galta beating. This quest of casting 40 creature spells, I don't think we're going to finish this one tonight. I think I'm just going to play the mono white deck. That deck the green deck just plays. Oh, in the deck, I think I have the full 4 Elvish Mystic. Yeah, I haven't really gotten far enough to, like, I've done, like, a couple of quests, and a couple of, like, I'm part of the way through a sealed deck, but other than that, I really haven't finished much of anything. It's part of the reason why I wanted to get back to just playing, Burn and not trying to play a bunch of other decks, because it's really hard to, like, play a bunch of modern decks, play a bunch of standard decks, try to play WoW, try to do homework, try to work. You know, it's just getting too much. You know, between that and the financial, like, drain of some of this stuff. Like, I watched your video about mana traders, and as far as, like, grinding mana traders and stuff, sideboard, and I definitely agree, but I think right now I can't afford the extra 55 in value a month, especially when, you know, I don't know how much longer, if we're being completely honest, I don't know how much longer, Magic Online is going to be relevant. It could be if I put my winnings towards it. But I've been using my winnings to reinvest back in, been using most of my winnings to reinvest back into paper Magic. $12 a month? Oh, I'm not able to sell subs very successfully, so I'm not the greatest salesman in the world. What is the play here? Swift Claw is a 3/1. Harpy's annoying. Oh, Space Marine, want. I don't know. Sideboard is pretty dashing. He looks like a lot of those top hat villains from the late 50s, early 60s cartoons back in the day. That is Cold Sauce Marine. Oh. Space Marine, haven't you scared off again with the villain thing? 4, 6. Looks like my opponent has a token sub-theme to go with their Harpy. Swab Goblin? Some of the card names they come up with. I don't know that you have scared her. I hope she comes back to the stream again, but I think she was definitely felt uncomfortable with the whole situation, I would guess. So 4, 7, 10. Our opponent to 1. They can play a creature and still sack 2, or sack 3, we're dead. So they have to have a 1. Actually, no, we're just dead to. I haven't played it in a while. I only got into some of the introductory stuff. Yeah, now we're dead to active treason here. I think Hearthstone and Arena are a little bit different in what they're trying to execute. Man, we are not making much progress on these 2 quests. Play with some Dragonfire. Just kind of bouncing back and forth to get a little bit of a feel for these decks. Yeah, pretty much the same thing with me. Space Marine, or sideboard. Paladin, Space Marine, why can I see you going, dude, where's my Karn? Well, Jan, are you still in chat? Because I think we might see a, whatchamacallit deck this game. I think we might be seeing a side deck here. How did YouTube just tell you to shut up? Yeah, it's an Artificer deck. And we're not drawing lands, so... Yeah, you must be firing off messages pretty quick, because I think I have it limited to like 1 every 30 seconds or 1 a minute. What's the default setting, Cyborg? Because I haven't messed with that at all. Here comes the sigh. Nope. Don't these decks play like 25 lands? Apparently I'm not supposed to draw lands this game. I think I literally need one more land to finish the one quest, and this thing isn't even going to give me that. It's like, come on. 6? That's a lot. Nothing to apologize for. I'm just laughing at the ridiculousness of our draw. Two, three, four, five, six. At least the nice thing about playing Arena is it doesn't feel like you're, doesn't feel like you're wasting, well, I shouldn't say wasting time. Doesn't really feel like it's, seriously? We didn't even draw a land now? I think putting this on mobile would be pretty rough, Space Marine. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to feel like as robotic as regular Magic sideboard. I think it's more meant to be more fluid. You can play full matches. You go to this little mode right here. Competitive constructed, and you can play full matches. I just have no reason to play full matches when I don't have a... Oh, it definitely is far more casual. Yes, and the play structure of Hearthstone and the play structure of WoW are two different things in terms of how resources are handled, etc. So, I don't know if Modern will ever actually be on here. So, part of the reason Magic Online will stay relevant for some amount of time at least. Yeah, if they could ever get it to work on mobile, but I don't think they're worried about bringing it to mobile right now. Back to Eternal Thirst. This is probably the one... Eternal Thirst feels like the one deck that there might be something there. Just in terms of the strategy overall. Like, of all the prefabricated decks, that's the one that feels... this is the one that feels the most... No, they won't go bankrupt. They're going to make quite a bit of money on Arena, too. What is sideboard? Arena? I know I had a person in my LGS that played a, that found a way to see if they force me to blow the Nightmare Thirst on this. Probably not. Oh, okay. That makes sense. It's pretty impressive for... I was gonna say, Space Marine, you do realize that a good bit of local game stores and such, a good bit of their revenue comes from more from the casual crowd than it does from the hardcore gamer crowd. You do understand that tournament grinders like you and I are the minority and not the majority of the money that's spent. Fair enough, sideboard. Fair enough. You had to go and bring logic into this, didn't you? Commander get-together games. There's any number of reasons why people play casual Magic. In fact, for my first probably 8 years of playing Magic, everything I did was casual. Oh, I know. I haven't been going to the F&M the last couple weeks, though, because of work schedule. Oh. To be fair, though, Burn hasn't always been considered, what is my opponent repping here? Don't think I block. Hey, we actually won a match. Space Marine, you didn't waste anything. You just find another LGS to play at, and also the fact of, also the fact that you can always sell the deck back for at least 50% of what you paid for it. And if you have people that play Magic more semi-seriously, especially Celestial Colonies and stuff, they almost never go to waste. Alright, I think we're gonna buy a buy like 1 pack of guilds just to crack. I feel like cracking a pack tonight. Got a common wild card, got a rare wild card from our thing. Darkblade Agent, reasonable. Candlelight Visual, eh. Urban Utopias, whatever. Join Shields. Lotleth Giant. And Assure Assemble. Oh, okay. So there is a prevent from dying card in it's not quite yeah, I am really articulating well tonight. It's not quite Blossoming Defense or Heroic Intervention, but that's pretty decent. Yeah, especially since most of the removal has headed towards destroy effects rather than whatever. Plus the fact that I think among the better green decks is going to be like the pseudo hexproof like Carnage Tyrants and Vinemare builds with access to Blanchwood armor, and then a light black splash for Assassin's Trophy is kind of the deck I'm envisioning building towards to see how good that deck is. But anywho, I am going to... Yeah, Terminus is pretty cheap right now, so that's not a terrible card to try to get a hold of, Space Marine. Alright, anywho, we did the thing with the burn deck. The burn deck went 4-1. We're up to 4 copies or we're 4 treasure chests of our 100 gold by the end of the month. Played a little bit of random daily quests here on Arena. Tomorrow, it'll definitely be some grinding tomorrow. I don't have work on Friday or Saturday, so I'll be able to play a lot longer tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up on sideboard stuff. Oh, I think Ritual Soot, gonna say, sideboard's the man to ask while he's in chat there, Space Marine. I don't honestly know jack about it, so... Alright, just as a wrap up for anybody coming back to the channel, catching the end of the stream here for some Arena, we're switching things up. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Mana Traders. We'll probably go back to playing it some more, but the goal is to start building up some resources again for Magic and for life. So we're going to grind treasure chests with a deck that is pretty darn good. We're going to be grinding some MTG Arena. We're going to be starting out a new character on World of Warcraft. I'm not quite sure what class. I'm thinking maybe a rogue, since it's like the class I've never played before. So I'm going to be starting up a new character on a new server rather than playing my main for right now. I'm just kind of switching things up. I'm taking everything back to like ground zero. I have the complete Boros burn deck. That's the only thing I have. Arena, obviously, I haven't dumped any money really into. So it's kind of taking everything back to zero. We're kind of starting back from the basics and hoping everybody enjoys us along for the ride. I'd like to thank Sideboard MTG for hanging out tonight. If you want great standard content, go check his channel out. He's fantastic at his coverage of Standard. You know, he goes way more in depth into it than I ever did. Yeah, Outlaw Rogue seems pretty fun. Yeah, but check out Sideboard MTG. He's awesome at what he does. He really goes in depth in the Standard. I would say, I'm trying to think. I think you have the most like in-depth. I'd say you have the most in-depth coverage of Standard of any channels I've looked onto. I mean, Dev does quite a good job at like building decks and stuff, but I don't know that he like goes into like as deep analysis as the meta as you do. So, like, if I ever needed a Standard deck and I had like not picked up the format cold, it'd probably you and my buddy Matt. So, yeah, I haven't really looked like I'm more of a modern player, so I haven't like done a deep dive on Standard. But yeah, you certainly have some of the deepest coverage in Standard on YouTube, and probably Twitch too, because a lot of Twitch streamers like to like, if you look at the top Twitch streamers, a lot of them like to either center on modern or well, thanks Sideboard. I'm probably not the best modern player there is though, but all right. I think I'm going to call it a night here. I got to grab a shower, walk some dogs, and get to bed. I got to be up for work at 3 a.m. in the morning, so get a room, you two. Says the man that was flirting with poor Isabel like crazy for a while there, my man. Space Marine, jeez. He's a pretty cool dude. He's just a little rough around the edges. Space Marine, you're pretty awesome. You're just a little, you're even more blunt than I am, and I didn't really know that was possible too terribly much. Anybody else hanging out? Jan, if you're still hanging around. O'Doyle, if you're in here. War Dog, if you're still hanging out. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight, but I do not need to get some sleep here. So, I hope everybody has a good evening. So, yeah, bombastic. That's a very descriptive word for it. So, I will catch everybody hopefully tomorrow evening. And Sideboard, I'll try to avoid streaming when you're streaming, man. That's not my goal. Definitely not my goal. So, alright. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic evening. Good night, everybody.